I want to just start out by saying, I appreciate you being here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how we even got introduced to each other. So January 31st, 2019, I saw on They Got Range. It's like that audio Instagram page with the singing. So usually it's music, but they had your speech and they posted it, and so I was like, dang, that's some real positive stuff, and I just thought I was like, I need to reach out to him. So I reached out to you, I DM'd you, and you responded. It was all love, and it's been love since then.
For sure.
So now a year later, we're linking up in person, so I want you to just introduce yourself and then kind of explain what it is that you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Cornell Tafari Bailey. I'm currently a motivational speaker. I currently primarily speak at colleges and universities, but, I'm speaking wherever, there's a need. I'm also a second-year PhD student right now. I'm studying psychology, so I'm balancing those things, pretty much the gist,
Cool. And so we'll get into a little bit about your explanation of being a speaker, like kind of go into how that all started for you. I know you.
Yeah, so I never really wanted to be a speaker. So like, I just got in my 30s. I'm 31. So all throughout my 20s, every decision I was making, it was really just to get this 6-figure salary. Like that's all I wanted. That was my goal. If you ask me 21, 22, 23, 25, whatever, I just want to get 6 figures. So I'm like trying to go to college, joining the military. I'm trying to get a master's. I'm trying to do anything I can do to secure this kind of job. So, around 2007 and around 2016, I finally got this dream job, right? I got a job as a federal investigator for the U.S. Department of Labor, right? Dream job. I'm making 100K. I'm in there, right? Everything's lovely. I'm doing all this, like everything that I thought I wanted, I had. And then about a year into it, I started to burn out, and I'm just like, man, this isn't really what I'm put here to do. Like, I've been chasing a salary, but I haven't been chasing a purpose, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, your job is something that, you could be trained to do, but your purpose that comes from God, that's your work. And I wanted to go find my work. So I just put it out there, like flexing in my Instagram bio, like, speaker, because I see a bunch of people on Instagram who don't rap, put rapper, put artist, don't got no art, photographer, don't got no pictures up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm a speaker. 2 weeks later, somebody that I was in the Navy with, they DM me and was like, oh, I seen in your bio you're a speaker. Can we bring you up to Howard to speak to our students? And I'm like, I never even spoke before. Like I don't even know what to say. But just by putting that intention out there, like it brought that opportunity, and I flew up there, didn't even know what I was going to say, went up there, get to Howard. It's an auditorium full of people. My picture's up, like all this. And I'm like, yo, off the gram.
Right.
But I like stumbled through it, voice cracking, all that, but in the middle of it, like, I'm like, man, I'm really doing this. But I get through it, and like students are coming up to me afterwards, and I thought it was bad, but they thought it was good. And I'm just like, this is a gift, man. Like, God put me in position to do this. So the bug was already planted, but I had this 6-figure job. I'm flying back to Houston. How I'm going to quit this? You know what I'm saying? Because, when you get a 6-figure job, your car get faster, your clothes is better, I'm living my life, but I'm like, it's this purpose working on me, man. And eventually I just stepped out on faith and did it. And I ain't looked back ever since, man. I haven't worked I gave up my job about a year and a half,
Wow.
and, been speaking ever since.
Cool. So that kind of falls right into what the podcast is about. So I've been kind of seeking people that are, using their purpose. They find their passion, use their purpose, and kind of don't let the 9-to-5, don't let anything else deter them from that. Right. And I know you spoke a lot about that in your speeches and so forth, but I want to go back and talk about what was that time like between when you put the speaker up in your bio, somebody reached out and said we want to have you speak. Between that time and actually, getting there in front of everybody. What was that time like?
It was like being exposed. It was like no, what it was like a bully just came up to you and was like, I'm gonna fight you at 3 p.m. It was like, I put that I'm a speaker in my bio. Now I gotta go actually do this.
Right.
So I'm trying to scramble. I'm trying to think of, man, what they probably want to hear. I'm trying to think like, man, what am I even gonna say? And, you know, I just got up there and told my story. And like, if you look at anybody that's a successful speaker, a successful comedian, a successful entrepreneur, just any type of successful singer or rapper, the strength of their power is in their story. So, you know, if as long as you've been living out here, you got a story, and there's always going to be somebody that can benefit from it. So, you know, I prepared in my head while, you know, when I was in Houston trying to get up there. But once I got up there, everything I had prepared went out the window, and I just stuck to my story, you know. And that I mean, I guess what I said helps some people. And it, you know, I was brought there to kind of motivate them, but I was really helping myself. Like, I feel like we're all divinely guided, you know. So I just feel like that's where I was supposed to be, because I was going to continue being complacent in this good job that I had. Like, even though I was being paid all this money, it's like, if you have a job and it's not your work and it's not your dream, it's like you're being paid to forget that. You know what I'm saying? How much are they gonna pay you to forget your dream? And for me, it was $100K, and I was like, forget them dreams, I'm good. But eventually I woke up like, man, it's just not enough. So yeah.
So did you know that? I'm assuming you didn't know that was your dream before that, right?
No, I mean, it really wasn't my dream, but what I tell people, as far as myself and just different people I meet, it's like, we all know what we're put here to do, because it comes out in our life in little parts throughout our life. We just aren't really receptive to the signs, because we're like trying to, you know, please our parents, please our, you know, social circles, you know, trying to do what culture tells us we should do. But, you know, I've always been able to bring people closer to me. I've always been a person that people want to listen to. I've always been able to influence people. And God has showed me this countless times throughout my life, and I've always ignored it, chasing this, you know, dream that, you know, I was told I should have. So, you know, I think we already know. Like, even you, like, I feel like you knew, you know, and then it's the gap between, you know, how many times are you going to keep being shown this before you actually go out and do something?
Right, right. Yeah. One of the things you touch on in some of what I've heard from your speeches so far is you said, let me find the source of your value. And so can you talk a little bit about how you found that source for yourself?
Right. So what I think is that we all come here with these like raw materials, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all come here with a different set of raw materials, right? And it's our job to kind of find these diamonds in the rough, you know, within us through experience, you know, and the only way to refine these raw materials is to start finding this gift and working on this gift, you know what I'm saying? I meet so many people who are like teachers who's supposed to be entrepreneurs. I meet people who, you know, work a 9-to-5 who really want to be chefs, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the raw materials are there, but they're not exercising them in their everyday activity. I feel like that's the only way to be happy, and I feel like that's the only way to actually do what we're put here to do. You know what I'm saying? Is by using our gifts. Like, you know, that's why when we talk about finding purpose, I don't even think you could find a purpose. I think your purpose is once you find your raw materials, your gift, and then you attach it onto something that you believe in, you know? So, yeah, that's how I feel like.
Right. So, you know, you're giving out a lot of advice. You said you feel like you can influence people to do things. Yeah. And you also said that, you know, you felt like you were speaking to yourself. How often is it that the same things that you're telling to everybody that you're speaking to, that you can internalize that and tell yourself those things, and not only tell it, but like listen to yourself and then do what you're telling yourself to do? You know?
Well, I mean, I think that's the hardest thing. I mean, I feel like, just like, you know, you can always get some good relationship advice from your friend, but if you ask your friend about their relationship, they like, well, you know, it ain't happy yet, you know?
Right.
So it's kind of like, it's hard to look at our own lives from a bird's eye perspective, you know, because we're so close to it. But I think because I'm constantly dealing with purpose and motivating people every day, I have to constantly read that kind of material. I have to constantly stay in that space. So that's the way that I'm able to kind of hold myself accountable in a way, because that I just happen to be lucky enough to be in a field to where motivation, personal development, all that's my game. So I'm constantly reading. I'm never not reading. I'm never not trying to challenge myself. Like even when I've been doing different things like marathons or different things like that, I'm trying to find new ways to try to break the barrier, because I can't get up in front of 100 students and tell them they can be all they can be if I'm not trying to challenge myself every time.
Right.
So
Are there some? Can you name some of the things that you're reading right now, or that you've? Whether it's
I read so many books, and I read a lot of books over and over again because I always feel like I pick something up different. But now I'm reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak. I'm reading again As a Man Thinketh. I've read this book probably easily like 18 times. I'm rereading the autobiography of Malcolm X. What else am I reading? In a book called At Your Command, that talks about that basically that we're all God in a way on earth. So I like to read a lot of stuff that's success, but that's also like kind of metaphysical. But then I'm a black man, and I care about the history of my people and understanding the history of my people. So I'm always trying to read something conscious too.
Right. So, who would you say are some of the people that are closest to you that keep you on the path that you're on, and all that backbone when you need it and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, I've really been on my own, man. I left the house when I was 18 after graduation, ain't really looked back since. So I'm kind of in isolation a lot. Even though people think that I'm an extrovert, I'm really introverted. But my mom is there, through the phone. But other than that, man, I just stay close to my faith, and I stay in these books. And there are certain people in my life that I've never even met yet that I feel like are mentors to me, that keep me on track. Like, I've never met Muhammad Ali, but that's my hero. Like, so every time I hear a speech or hear him talk or read something about him, I feel like he's mentoring me. James Baldwin, so a lot of the people that keep me grounded are people that aren't even alive, so
right.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was about to say.
Kind of weird. Yeah, this is
no. I feel you though. I mean, I think the same thing is a lot of people I haven't met yet that I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I love watching interviews because you get their perspective without being there. Right. And sometimes like people want to meet somebody special, right? And then when they meet them, they don't know what to say, or they don't know, they just want to take a selfie or something like that. Right. But you can learn without even coming in contact with somebody, and then when you do meet them, you have some discussion you can have about them. And as you said, some people have passed, but that's something I think is powerful because their message lives on, and you can take from that and continue to push forward.
Who you follow?
I mean, it's hard for me to think of. I'm looking at like a lot of audio or listening to audio books. I listen to a lot of artists. Like I watch their interviews. I was watching the Nipsey Hussle interview recently, and some of the stuff he was going to be doing is
crazy.
It's unfortunate what happened. But he was on a path, and like he had that different mindset. And we can bounce off of that, of his entrepreneurship. With your entrepreneurship, you said you've been a year and a half without working for somebody. You're working for yourself now. So how has that transition been?
It's been hard at first. It was hard at first, but now I'm kind of on autopilot with it now. It just is like, it removes that level of comfort. If I'm working a job, even if I'm making, $10 an hour, I know rain, sleet, or snow, in 2 weeks, I'm going to get a direct deposit. For me, I'm not going to get paid unless I get out here and work. You know what I'm saying? So every day I'm waking up procrastinating, I see a direct correlation in my bottom line. Like, I got to get up here and try to make it happen. I got to get out here and speak. I got to get out here and do different things because now it's my livelihood, And now, my purpose is attached to my paycheck. And I feel like that when you can attach your purpose to your paycheck, it doesn't really feel like work. It doesn't feel like anything you're laboring to do, but you're going to do it every day. You go to sleep thinking about it. You wake up thinking about it. So, that's it's been a good transition.
So would you consider that your biggest risk that you've taken? Or what else in your life you feel like?
No, as far as with the, I mean, anytime you leave a job, especially if you built up all of your life based on trying to get a good job, like everything I did, it really wasn't because I wanted to. It was because I was trying to be a good candidate for a really good job. But whenever you do something like that, I think it's whenever you put it like this, everybody that has a job right now that they know it's not their purpose, they constantly go back and forth between, man, I should just leave and do my own thing. Right. It's like, but we never ever jump. You know what I'm saying? Right. A lot of us never ever jump, and a lot of reason why we don't jump is because we don't really believe in ourselves. So the biggest risk for me initially was like, do I believe in myself enough? Like, once you could get past the belief in yourself part, then everything else, I feel like, because we all are divinely guided, it's gonna work itself out. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So with that, the fact you said you got to take that jump, and I saw that you did a skydiving adventure.
Yeah. So I would just put this out here, man. Like on my Instagram, I'm always doing crazy stuff, but the reason I be doing it is just because I'm constantly trying to put myself in situations that's uncomfortable. Okay. You know, I be trying to shock myself because I feel like when you do something uncomfortable like that, that's hard. I almost feel like it's a muscle, like just like, hey, you lift a muscle. So the more you do it, the stronger it gets. So if I can skydive, I could definitely get up in front of a room of 1,000 people and talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Right. So for me, it's all psychological. It's like a brain hack that I'm trying to try on myself.
So were you scared to do that?
Yeah. So I wasn't scared. I was hard all the way up until it was about to be my turn. Like so many steps have to happen between when you skydive. You basically get there, you sign up, you basically sign a form that says, hey, if you die, it's on you, man. We told you not to do it. You basically got to sign a waiver form, like they're not responsible. I was cool. I was waiting, seeing all these people hop out. I was still cool. We got in a plane. I was cool. We started getting up there. I was cool. A couple people went out. They took like 9 of us up. Like 2 people went out the plane. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, we in there. The person before me flew out, and the dude said, scoot up. And we was on the edge, and all I felt was just like death is what I felt. I thought, like, I'm just like, at that moment, I was like, yeah, is it too late? And then right when I was thinking that, he was like, all right, let's go. Terrifying.
So once you jump,
my whole day was messed up.
Oh, afterwards?
Yeah, like my whole day was messed up, meaning like I couldn't get my equilibrium. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like I just felt weird, but you really falling, bro. You really falling down. It feels like you're just falling down for like 10 seconds. And then like the parachute comes out and then you float. But for 10 seconds, that 10 seconds is a long time, bro. For 10 seconds, you just falling down, bro. It was a terrifying thing. I'm trying to do it again though, next year.
So talk about how did that change your perception on life, your perception on like specifically, because
well, I mean, a lot of people say that that's not even something that black people do. And right. Granted, we was the only black people out there. But I just think that when you constantly do stuff like that, that's dangerous. Like, it just reinforces the fact that, you know, God's in control of everything, you know, and, you know, it don't matter what you do, you know, he got you, you know. So I feel like my purpose is too big for it to end like that, you know. So, you know, that just let me know, you know, if I can jump out of a plane, you know what I'm saying, I could walk in my purpose, you know what I'm saying.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Dang. Let me look at some of these.
What about you? You skydiving? What's up, man? We could go up here.
I don't know. I said I need to live some more life first.
Yeah. Before you bet it all.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think it, because I've listened to Will Smith. One of his interviews, he was talking about, it was like a bliss that happened, that once he jumped out, it was like everything let go. Like,
he bungee jumped, I think, for one of his birthdays. His last, I think he turned like 50 or something. He bungee jumped. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
You got to do it. I feel like you got to do it because it's symbolic. Because we hold on to a lot of things thinking that we're in control. That's why we hold on to things and we try to manipulate our lives as if we're in control of them. You know what I'm saying? So when you jump and you let go in different ways in your life, you're reinforcing the fact that, 1, you're here for a reason, and 2, you're not in control. All you can do is just, you know, do what you feel every time.
I'm going to read one of your quotes. This was on your IG. You were going on a jog, and you said, if you can wake up and change your behavior, then you can wake up and change your circumstances.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit of insight into that?
Well, yeah. So your behavior is everything. Your behavior is how your habits manifest, and your habits is how your life manifests. All that, it starts with behavior. Mindset, whatever you want to call it. Like it's your behavior, and I just feel like all of us, we're at constant war with ourselves. Like every day we wake up, we know the right things to do, and we also know the wrong things to do. We know the things that's going to bring us closer to the life we want, and we know the things that feel comfortable and feel good to us, but they're bringing us in the opposite direction. So I feel like you're constantly at war with yourself, and there's a world outside of you trying to tell you who you are. Friends, family, social media, movies, outside world, and then you got a world inside of you trying to tell you who you are. And it's this voice, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And when you can make your behavior match this world inside of you, I feel like that's how you can start to change your life. You know what I'm saying? So when I say, if you can change your behavior, you can change your circumstances, is that everybody wants to just start with changing the circumstance, but it's really the behavior, right? So just to give another example, so if I want to stop smoking, I can think the way to achieve that goal is to just, not buy cigarettes, or to just, throw all my cigarettes in the garbage. But really, that's just like hacking at a branch on a tree. The root is this feeling that you get stressed out and feel like relieving it with tobacco is okay. Mm-hmm. So it's like get into the behavior. Changing the behavior is how we change our circumstances. But too many times we just run straight to the circumstance instead of going to find a root. You know what I'm saying? Right. But we all want to change our circumstances. Everybody in here wants to change their circumstances. Everybody that we know wants to change their circumstances. That's why you get up every day. You're trying to change a circumstance, but we got to start with the root, and the root is behavior. The root is the world inside of you, telling you who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll read another one.
Damn, we got them all pulled up.
I'm not going to do all of them. But one I thought was really good. I think it was a leadership conference. Mm-hmm. Everybody woke up real early in the morning, and they're there, and they should see themselves as leaders. Mm-hmm. And what you said to them was, where others see problems, leaders see puzzles. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of deep on the fact that, like, if we look at a problem, or, it could be quote unquote a problem, say there's puzzle pieces out there, right? Yeah. Are you going to start to put it together? Right. Or are you going to just say, oh, it's not together, and keep moving? Or like kind of give some of your insight on that.
So, I mean, like I said, everything is perspective. Everything is behavior. So, like, what may look like a problem to you may be a puzzle for another person. But I feel like the people that are really changing their circumstances and making the lives of other people better, they're constantly faced with these puzzle pieces, and they solve them. The masses just see problems, but there's chosen ones that are here that see puzzles, and the world progresses when people see puzzles, you know what I'm saying? When people want to solve things, you know what I'm saying? When people anybody can just look at things and see a problem, but, you know what I'm saying, the people, who are really going to change the world and move the world forward, is contingent on them continuing to see these pieces in the world, whatever their field is, and say, I'm going to solve that puzzle, not problem.
Right. So a couple more questions for you. What do you feel like has been your biggest speaking engagement so far, and not, or most impactful to you?
I think my most impactful one has been, I went to go speak in Montreal, Canada, April 5th, 2019. And this is why it's significant. I had finally quit my full-time job February, 23rd, 2019. And when I quit my job, I didn't really quit it knowing that I had speaking engagements lined up. I didn't really have any lined up at the time. I was just like, it was a decision I made, like, I'm going to go for this. But I didn't go for this knowing I had like a book calendar or anything like that. I didn't know if it was going to work.
Right.
I just had a little bit of savings, and I'm just like, we going to see. Just by leaning on faith and just believing that it was all going to work out, and believing that if I just believe in him, he'll order my steps. Like, I just jumped out there. 30 days later, I got a TED Talk. 30 days after that, somebody called me from Montreal and was like, yo, we want to bring you out here to speak. I get out there to speak. I get out there, it's an auditorium full of like 600 people. I just quit my job. I was working a 9 to 5 job 60 days earlier. Mm-hmm. So it was most impactful to me because I feel like that's what faith can do. You know what I'm saying? If you just, you're not supposed to know how it's going to work all the time. Mm-hmm. You're not even going to know if it's going to work all the time. But, when you just step out on faith like that, everything will work itself out. And for me, just looking out and seeing so many faces out there that I can't even see nobody's face individual. They just all look like dots. In the back of my mind, like, I was in a cubicle 60 days ago. Mm-hmm. It was impactful for me because it let me know that I'm doing the right thing. And I just gotta stay down with this,
And so, where do you feel like you want to go from here?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like our purpose in life is constantly changing,
right?
And everything up until this point was just for me to start speaking. But the more that I speak, the more that I realize that I'm a way better writer than a speaker.
Okay.
But maybe if I'm put here to be a writer, I can never become that writer until I spent time as a speaker. Mm-hmm. I can never be a speaker until I spent that time getting a job that I thought I wanted. Mm-hmm. So I feel like what I want is evolving. I am, in a PhD program now. I want to keep speaking and speaking life into people. I want to write books, and play with a dog, in the backyard, and, just write books and speak. That's, and I really want to open up a business, like, in the Black community in Houston, 3rd Ward specifically. So okay. I got a big idea I'm trying to start this summer. So
that's awesome, man. I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah. What you got going on? Hold on, let me know, man. Dang, I had questions. What you got going on?
Shoot, for me, I'm doing photography. I work with the Vikings right now, and we'll see what happens. I definitely want to own my own business as well. I started a production company on the side, and this is kind of a representation of that. I've been investing a lot in myself and just trying to gain knowledge and
So tell me this. So did you go right into the production company or photographer, or were you working a job at first?
No, so I'm still. Since college, I've been doing side work, freelance work. Before I even know what multiple streams of income was, before I knew that, I had that feeling or urge inside of me that I need to be getting money from multiple places because you never know when one thing may end. So, from college, once I bought my first camera, I started working with whoever I could and building up some side money. And then when I got an internship, I was still doing things on the side, full-time jobs, still doing things on the side. So I've always had multiple areas where I've done my production work, right? But it's been... I just officially got it, licensed last year. So now, I'm getting the tax benefits and all of that stuff and learning all that finance side of it. So that's really where I'm at right now is just trying to keep going, keep growing the wealth and growing the connections and see what happens.
So nobody discouraged you from doing that? Nobody?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I think it was harder a lot for me starting out. Like, my parents didn't really understand it, but they were in support of it. And then, but it was when it was convenient, right? When it started getting like, okay, late nights, I'm still out. Because I was living at home. Yeah. If it's late nights and I'm still out and I'm, shooting concerts at the club or something like that, now my mom's getting worried. Like, hey, you need to be back home. And like, why are you even doing this? Because, at some point, it's unsafe. Sometimes it's unsafe or traveling for 3 or 4 hours. Working with people I've never met before, things like that. But like you said, you got to have faith. You got to just focus on what you're there to do, and I think it's been times where things can happen that aren't the safest. Right. But, if you're there for the right reasons, you're covered, So, but my parents have been really supportive. And as I've continued to do more and more, they've been there for me. They're excited when I'm telling them, new things I'm doing and all of that. So,
But so tell me this. So like, I seen you online and I'm like, I didn't even know that that's how we linked. I didn't know that it was off that third party page. But when I see like, you not just, it's a lot of people that's photographers, but you like really, really doing it. You know what I'm saying? So why did the Vikings say, we want you to be our photographer? Like, out of all these people in Minnesota, they let an outsider come here and like, how you get that?
Well, to give you the full rundown, I went to VCU, and when I graduated from there, I had applied to like 50 some places, and not all sports. It was sports and also whatever I could get. Yeah. So I came close to becoming, 9 to 5 or for enterprise, and which I didn't see anything wrong with it. I like cars, and that was my kind of end. I was going to do that, and even with that mindset, I was like, well, I know they take photos of cars too. Can I do that on the side? How does that work? And when I was in the resume place or during my interview, the lady saw my resume, saw everything I had on there was sports related. She said, if you really have a passion for this, go for that. Like, you're still young, you just got out of college. We can give you this job, but I don't think that's going to be the most beneficial for you. Right. So I kept working with a friend of mine, Wilson Tarpey. He has a outlet called My Mind on Sports, and also Focus TV now. And so we went to Connecticut and shot. Actually, when I got the call from the Vikings, I was in Connecticut shooting a women's tournament. UConn was playing, and Maryland University was playing, and all of that. So fast forward from there, I got an internship with the Seahawks first, right? And I kind of took the leap of faith because they didn't give me the video position that I applied for, but they gave me a 3-month summer internship for public relations. Had no clue about public relations. So from there, ended up staying on for the full year because the person they originally hired for video left. And so I got to stay on. I'd also applied for the Vikings position that same year, didn't get it. So after the Seahawks internship was finished, the next year was coming up. I'm driving. I was riding in the car with my dad back home, and got a text from one of the hiring people at the Vikings saying, hey, it's going to be opening back up again. Right. Make sure you're on the lookout for applying. Yeah. So I reapplied and ended up getting it the second time around. Right. And so I think what they saw in me was that, I didn't give up when they said no. I went and found another opportunity, and I did more than just PR. Yeah. I did video, and then I did photography when I could out there. Yeah. So just keeping the grind going, I think they saw the improvement in that 1 year. Yeah. Yeah. And it got me out here, and I've been out here since. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. It seemed like behind every successful person, or anybody that success is relative, but behind anybody that really makes things happen out here, it's a leap of faith that has to happen behind every successful person. Like, you have to have a leap of faith. So that's what's up, man. I didn't know it was like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's dope.
Appreciate that. I think just lastly, if you had any more questions, go ahead.
I ain't got no more questions.
Yeah, the question I had last is, so the name of the podcast is Smile the Podcast, right? And I want to just ask you, what makes you smile?
What makes me smile? When I talk to somebody, and at the end of it, a light bulb goes off, because you can see it. You know what I'm saying? You can see when you're talking to somebody who don't think that they can do it, or don't think that it can happen for them. And it's this moment, luckily, if you're lucky, when you're talking to somebody, when they get that light bulb, like, I can make this happen. I could change my life. I could live the life I want. I could reach my goals. So when I see that light bulb, that's the best satisfaction. That makes me smile, for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
Cool. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
For sure, man.
All right.
No doubt.